It happens in a split second. One moment, the arena is a chaotic sea of neon signs, screaming children, and the generic hum of 20,000 people waiting for violence. The next, the world simply ends. The house lights don't just dim, they die. It is a sudden, aggressive plunge into absolute darkness. For a minimalist animation, imagine a white canvas, crowded with trembling, noisy stick figures, suddenly swept clean by a wave of black ink. In the arena, there is a confused hush. You know that sound? It's the sound of 20,000 people holding their breath at the exact same time. The air conditioning hums, a low mechanical drone that suddenly feels deafening. In the ring, the current champion lets picture her standing in a pool of faint emergency light shifts her weight. Her body language changes from arrogance to uncertainty. She looks at the entrance ramp, squinting into the void. This is the mastery of the moment. Before we see a single pixel of the superstar, we feel the absence of everything else. The darkness isn't empty, it is heavy, presses down on the audience. It is a psychological trigger that says the rules we have been playing by for the last 3 hours no longer apply. The producers backstage have cut the feed to the Titantron. There is no logo, no technical difficulty screen, just the void. And in that void, the imagination of every fan in the building begins to run wild, crafting their deepest hopes and fears into the shape of a returning legend. The darkness is the canvas, and we are about to see a masterpiece painted in fear. Then the fog begins. It doesn't burst out like a party, seeps in. All lolling heavy, rolling over the edge of the stage like a slow-moving ocean. It catches the few stray beams of blue light, creating a ghostly floor. And then, from the center of that fog, a sound cuts through the silence. It isn't high-energy rock music. It is a slow, rhythmic, industrial stomping. Thud, thud, thud. She steps out. She isn't wearing the colorful spandex of the past. She is draped in a long, armored coat that looks like it was forged from the wreckage of her past defeats. The collar stands high, framing a face that shows zero emotion. In a stickman animation, this is where you emphasize the silhouette's sharp shoulders, the flowing length of the coat, the rigid posture of a general inspecting troops. The second she raises her head, the noise returns. But it isn't a cheer. It is a sonic boom. The audio levels on the broadcast peak and distort. It is a guttural, primal roar from the crowd that shakes the camera lenses. This wasn't a comeback. This was an invasion. She walks down the ramp. Not with the speed of an athlete, but with the inevitability of a glacier. She doesn't high-five the fans. She doesn't look at the camera. She stares dead ahead at the ring. The message is instantly clear without a single word being spoken. The hero you knew is dead. Something much darker and much stronger has taken her place. The WWE didn't just get a wrestler back. They unleashed a force of nature that they might not be able to control. Let's step away from the arena for a moment and look at the world outside. The moment she stepped through that fog, the digital infrastructure of the wrestling community began to fracture. Twitter timelines froze. The hashtag didn't just trend, it dominated. You have to imagine millions of screens lighting up simultaneously across the globe. In living rooms, people jumped off their couches, spilling drinks, shouting at televisions as if the character could hear them. The commentary team, usually so full of hyperbole and scripted excitement, fell into a stunned silence. This is a crucial storytelling element. When the people paid to talk are rendered speechless, the moment gains weight. We hear the lead announcer stammer, trying to find the words to describe the aura of the woman walking to the ring. He stops trying to sell us a subscription or a match. He becomes a fan again. He whispers, "I don't believe it." This reaction is vital because it validates the viewer's emotion. It tells us that this isn't just part of the show's script even, though we know it is. It feels like a disruption. It feels unapproved. The camera angles become frantic, zooming in on shocked faces in the front row, grown men with their hands on their heads, children with their mouths open. The broadcast director is scrambling, trying to capture the scale of the emotion. It's chaos, but it's the beautiful, addictive chaos that keeps the wrestling industry alive. We aren't watching a sport anymore. We're watching a global viral moment unfold in real time, binding millions of strangers together in a shared state of disbelief. Now, let's imagine what is happening behind the curtain. in the area known as Gorilla. This is the nerve center of WWE, usually a place of controlled stress. But tonight, the atmosphere is different. As she walked out, the other wrestlers huddled around the monitors. In our animation, we see the other stick figures, the mid-carders, the hopefuls, the current stars leaning in, their body language shrinking. Why? Because the hierarchy just changed. Every wrestler knows that screen time is a finite resource. When a star of this magnitude returns, with this level of dark, consuming gravity, the oxygen leaves the room. The current champions look at the monitor and realize their storylines, their feuds, and their planned moments of glory are now secondary. They are suddenly fighting for scraps. There is a unique mix of respect and terror backstage. They know she will sell tickets. They know she will bring eyes to the product. But they also know that her character, this dark queen persona, requires victims. Someone has to be fed to the legend to make her look strong. The locker room is doing the mental math, calculating who will be the first to fall. It creates a tension that bleeds through the screen. The writers are frantically tearing up next week's script because nothing they wrote yesterday matters today. The return didn't just break the internet. It broke the planned future of the company. The roadmap is gone. We are off-roading now, following the path she is carving with that heavy armored coat. To understand why this moment hit so hard, we have to understand the silence that preceded it. This wasn't a 2-week vacation. This was an exile. Picture a montage of gray, lonely days. The injury or the walkout or the personal tragedy that took her away, stripped her of the spotlight. While the WWE machine kept churning, creating new stars and selling new merchandise, she was somewhere else, fighting a battle in silence. In our cinematic story, we visualize this as a lone figure in a vast, empty gym. The clanging of iron plates echoes in a void. There are no cheering fans here. There is no pyro. There is only the repetitive, grueling pain of rehabilitation. She watched from the sidelines as the industry moved on. She saw other women claim the title she built. She saw her fans, start to cheer for new names. That creates a specific kind of resentment. It's not a hot, fiery anger. It's a cold, hard resolve. It's the realization that loyalty is conditional, but dominance is absolute. She realized that being the hero was a weakness because heroes rely on the love of the crowd, and the crowd is fickle. So, she killed the hero. She spent those months in the dark, forging this new armor. She wasn't just healing her body. She was hardening her heart. When she walks down that ramp tonight, we aren't seeing a celebration of her return. We are seeing the result of her survival. She isn't here to wave. She is here to remind everyone what they lost, and to punish them for moving on. Let's focus on that code again. In visual storytelling, costume is character. The old version of her might have worn bright colors, tassels, glitter, things that catch the light and invite the eye. Those were the clothes of a performer who wanted to be seen and adored. This new look is different. It is dark leather, buckles, high collars. It is defensive. This armor tells us that she is closed off. She is protecting herself from the industry that chewed her up. But it is also offensive. It looks heavy, imposing. It creates a silhouette that looks larger than life. In a stickman style, she looks like a jagged shadow against the white light of the ring. This visual change signals a psychological shift. She is no longer playing by the rules of sportsmanship. The Dark Return isn't just about wearing black. It's about the rejection of the social contract of wrestling. Usually a wrestler wants to be liked, babyface, or hated heel. She seems to want neither. She wants respect. She wants fear. Ice separates her from the rest of the roster. It makes her look like a boss character in a video game, someone who exists on a different level of difficulty. The audience feels this instinctively. They stop cheering "You still got it" and start watching in hushed awe. They realize they are looking at a weapon that has finally been unsheathed. The person underneath is gone. Only the purpose remains. She slides into the ring. Movement is liquid, effortless. She stands up and slowly unbuttons the heavy coat, letting it drop to the canvas. She doesn't throw it. She discards it. Underneath, her gear is simple, tactical, and black. She turns to face the current champion, who has been frozen in the corner this entire time. This is the face-off. In the language of cinema, this is the spaghetti western duel. The camera pans back and forth between their eyes. The champion is trying to look brave, holding the belt up high, but her eyes are darting around. She's overcompensating. Our returning legend, however, is perfectly still. She doesn't blink. She doesn't breathe heavy. She just stares. There is an entire conversation happening here without a microphone. The champion's posture says, "This is my yard now." The returner's posture says, "You are renting it from me." The crowd feels the air leave the building. The tension is so thick it feels like gravity has doubled. This is the moment where the script disappears. We're looking for tiny cracks in the composure of the performers. We see the champion swallow nervously, see the slight twitch of a hand. The dominance is established not by a punch, but by the sheer pressure of presence. It is a masterclass in minimalism, two figures standing in a square circle, yet the stakes feel apocalyptic. Finally, she moves. She doesn't attack. She walks up to the champion, invading her personal space. She looks down at the championship belt, the symbol of everything everyone fights for. She reaches out a hand. The crowd gasps, expecting a snatch, a slap, a fight. Instead, she gently touches the gold plating of the title. She runs a finger over it, almost affectionately, then looks the champion in the eye and smiles. But it's not a happy smile. It's a terrifying, pitying smile. It's the smile of a predator playing with food. She leans in, and although there is no microphone, the camera picks up the movement of her lips. We don't need to know exactly what she said. The reaction of the champion tells us everything. The champion flinches. She turns her back on the title. She turns her back on the fight. She walks to the ropes and steps through them. This is the ultimate insult. She is saying, "I can take that whenever I want, but not tonight. Tonight, I just wanted you to know I'm here." It is a psychological dismantle. By refusing to fight immediately, she controls the timeline. She leaves the champion standing there, looking small and confused, clutching a belt that suddenly feels very heavy. The physical violence hasn't even started, but the war is already won. The segment ends not with a bell, but with her walking away, leaving a shattered reality in her wake. The show ends. The cameras cut to black. The copyright logo flashes. But the story doesn't stop there. Imagine the drive back to the hotel. The adrenaline that fueled that massive return begins to fade, replaced by the dull ache of the body and the mind. In the car, the armor is gone. She is just a person again, scrolling through the explosion on her phone, seeing the world react to the persona she created. This is the emotional core of our story. The Dark Return looks cool on TV, but it is lonely. To maintain that aura of untouchable power, she has to isolate herself. She can't be joking with friends in the catering area. She can't be vulnerable. She has to live inside the monster she built. We see a shot of her in a hotel room, looking in the mirror. The makeup is wiped off. Eyes are tired. This return is a transaction. She traded her peace for her legacy. She traded the comfort of retirement for the chaos of the road. Why? Because the itch never goes away. The roar of the crowd is a drug that nothing in the real world can replace. But tonight, there is a heaviness to it. She knows that now. She has to live up to the impossible standard she just set. Every match, every promo, every movement will be scrutinized. She is back on the mountaintop, but the air is thin up there, and it is very, very cold. So, why did this break the WWE? Why did the fans lose their minds? It wasn't just surprise. It was recognition. We cheer for the Dark Return because deep down, we all want to do what she did. We all want to disappear, heal our wounds, and come back stronger, scarier, and undeniable.
Oh.
We project our own desire for revenge and redemption onto her silhouette. But here's the twist, the final reflection to leave the audience with. As she walked away from the ring, leaving the champion confused and the crowd screaming, she wasn't the winner. The darkness isn't a power-up, it's a prison. By returning this way, she admitted that she cannot exist without the war. She didn't come back to conquer the WWE. She came back because the WWE had already conquered her soul. She is trapped in the cycle, doomed to be the villain, the hero, or the monster, as long as the lights are on. The screen fades to black, leaving only the sound of that slow, rhythmic heartbeat from the beginning. It slows down and fades out. She is back, but at what cost?